ペッパークイーン
Sultry, bold, sensitive. These are a few words to describe the Little Mix bombshell Jesy Nelson. Anyone who knows her knows she doesn't conform to the typical pop star mold, something that Nelson learned the moment she stepped into the spotlight. This is her story, about the success she garnered because of her atypicality, but was relentlessly persecuted by the world because of it and still thrived.
Be quiet, I'm trying to talk.
Jesy's known to be bold. It's one of her traits that definitely brought her success. This opinionated feature has helped Little Mix pick hit singles, decide on video concepts, basically being the integral part of Little Mix's decision-making process. Which is fortunate, since most pop acts don't usually have any say in their careers, which can lead to disaster. But where does she get her grip from? Nelson was born to Janice and John Nelson on June 14th, 1991. Her father, John, had a very colorful past before his daughter was born. In the 80s, when Nelson was 20 years old, he was in an altercation at a Dagenham nightclub that resulted with the stabbing of boxer Paul Reedy. Witnesses in the area claimed that Mr. Nelson stabbed the fighter and thus was dubbed the Disco Killer. When John went to his trial, his family and friends were banned from the courtroom because of fighting with Reedy's family. John was declared guilty of murder, but his verdict was overturned following an appeal, though he still had to do prison time for affray charges. During his prison sentence, John married Janice and they went ahead with having their 4 children.
Jess is in the middle, then there's her elder sister Jade, elder brother Johnny, and then a younger brother Joe.
John and Janice separated when Jesy was 5. And John didn't seem to be a huge part in Jesy's upbringing, since she often mentions coming from a single mother household.
So I've got 2 brothers and 1 sister, and my mum brought us up all on her own. She's amazing, and we're so close.
The 29-year-old's childhood was mostly happy. Jesy was known to be a very social child.
When a teacher wrote a report, it was always like, could do better.
Yeah.
Oh, that was always me.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
What was your thing? Were you like?
I was just a bit of a chatterbox. I wouldn't say I was a naughty child at school.
Yeah.
But I loved making people laugh. Like I was that kid at school. So I was sent out a lot. Did get
detentions.
Got sent home once.
In the Little Mix book, Our World, she mentions her home was a madhouse. Having 3 siblings meant that there was always some mischief happening. Even though there was craziness, there was a lot of love too. The Nelsons are a close family, which came in handy for hard times. Unfortunately, the Nelsons weren't well off financially. Janice, as a single mother, held many jobs to support the family. She worked as a paramedic, a firefighter, a bar waitress, and finally worked as a community officer. In fact, in 2018, Jan Nelson won an award for catching a thief who mugged a senior citizen in her area. As a child, Jesy's love for entertaining others led her to acting. She was signed to an agency at 8 and quickly booked audition roles for some major films. In Our World, she mentions how she was never pressured to be a child actor. Her mother made it clear that she could quit at any time and there was no pressure. She landed gigs like a German ad for Hula Hoop and landed roles as an extra in some big-name films. Interestingly enough, Jesy almost landed a major movie role opposite Denzel in Man on Fire, though she wasn't chosen because she couldn't nail the American accent. At 12, Miss Nelson still had the acting bug and decided to attend the Sylvia Young Theatre School, but it didn't quite suit her. In Our World, she described the school as posh and cliquey. She felt so uncomfortable being there that she would skip classes. Soon enough, she decided to leave, going to another school in Upminster.
Schools.
Okay. 4 different ones.
Yeah, first of all was like with my brothers and sisters. Next one was like a theatre school. Then after that, I left because I wasn't really enjoying it. Then I went to another school and I got bullied there.
Right.
And so I had to leave because I didn't enjoy it. And then my last school was brilliant.
Her time there was pretty rough. A couple of girls at her new school started to bully her. The bullying escalated when one of the girls got her boyfriend to carry out the harassment for her. As a result, Jesy developed alopecia along with a rash and horrible acne. She describes the situation. I know some people think name-calling isn't the worst thing kids can experience, but when you're getting it every day, it takes hold, especially when you're in your teens and everything affects you so much. Even when I wasn't in school, the abuse was still going round and round inside my head, the whole time making me feel worse. Sadly, this experience wouldn't be an isolated incident for Jesy. Bullying has been part of her career since her time on X Factor. Though it took the form of social media, Nelson had auditioned for the X Factor multiple times with no avail. In 2011, she was about to give up hope. That is until her mother intervened. She filled out her audition forms. In that year, X Factor held auditions at the O2. When audition day came around, she was late. Jesy had overslept, and so she raced in line for her chance to try out. The line was so grueling to wait in that Janice felt that she could keep her daughter's place in line while she waited in the car. So, Jesy waited in the car until it was time for her to audition, and the rest was history. She passed the primaries and went on to boot camp where she met the girls. The girls performed every week, getting closer to the finish line, and when the group finally won, it was the worst day of Jesy's life. Little Mix's image from the beginning was normal girls with big lives. Plucked from obscurity, these girls acted and looked like everyday people. Looks not customary in the industry. Nelson had a robust figure more along the lines of a Demi Lovato or a Hwasa. Great for an average person, but in an industry that mainly promoted slimmer figures and lesser curves, Nelson was a target. During the first years in Little Mix, Jesy was battling depression. She couldn't stand the online hate, to the point where she stopped showing up for work.
To see it was, if I'm not seen with them, I won't get pictured. So there won't be an article for people to then comment and troll me on. So I was like, if I'm not seen with them as much, people won't have an opinion. But instead, it caused more of an opinion, because then there was articles.
She tried many ways to reclaim her mind from the hands of her torturers, but to no avail. All her efforts led to her depression getting worse, to the point where she attempted suicide. Luckily enough, she survived and decided to get help, all while the public was lived to what was really going on with the singer. At interviews, when the online question hate would come up, she would give a generic answer. And it wasn't until the documentary Odd One Out was released in 2019 that people had an inside look at the torment Jesy was going through. During the press she did for the documentary, she mentions that she's in a better place now, but still struggles from time to time. The documentary was well received and even won the Documentary of the Year at the 2020 NTA Awards. Looking back at those early years in Little Mix, there were signs of how the hate affected Jesy so much. In her youth, she never cared about others' opinions about her looks. She was free to do what she wanted, being a performer mainly. During her freshman year, she went to another performing arts school, Joel Richardson, where she excelled in music, drama, and English. She thrived at her new school, and soon enough developed a passion for dancing. Janice and Jesy would often run errands around their local shopping center. It was there that Jesy would see kids dancing, attracting attention from the shoppers. She found out that the dancers went to a school taught by Ashley Banjo. Banjo would teach Jesy dance in the sister group to his group, Diversity. That is, until his group won Britain's Got Talent in 2009. After winning, Banjo had little time for teaching, which prompted Jesy to leave her dancing aspirations. Of course, a multi-talented pop star could do more than dance. She had a wonderful voice, and with the help of Leigh-Anne, Perry, and Jade, she would start her career as a pop star. Jesy really had to grind to help her group become successful. Early calls for photo shoots, music videos, and endless press could really take a toll. In those stressful times, Jesy had someone to lean on, who understood the lifestyle, an old associate, Jordan Banjo. Jordan, Ashley Banjo's brother, was and is part of Diversity. The couple soon started dating. Nelson's love life was going pretty well as her career. In 2012, Little Mix released their first single, Wings, and it went to number 1, and it smashed it. It was so popular that it even made a splash in the US, and the song was even being featured on the popular TV show Glee. The girls seemed to have a good start having a debut album with a hit single, and the next album will be even better. 2013, the sophomore album Salute was released. During promo for their single Move, the girls would go on X Factor to perform live. This was highly anticipated by Nelson since she had worked hard to lose the weight since her last days at X Factor.
And I didn't give a shit if the performance was going to be good. All I cared about was people seeing me and going, oh, she looks good, she's lost weight. Like, that's all I wanted.
What's more, Nelson and Banjo had broken up that same year. There was some speculation of cheating going on, though nothing was confirmed. But Nelson wasn't single for long. She met Jake Roach the following year. She met Roach at the Manchester Arena. They bumped into each other in the hallway and started to make small talk. We met in the corridor and started speaking and realized we both been to Sylvia Young's theatre school in London. At different times, we knew all the same people, so it kind of just clicked. It all happened very naturally. We started messaging each other, getting on well. He was in America, which is where his label is, and wasn't due to come back to the UK for a while. And one night in August 2014, he dared me to fly out to Los Angeles so we could go on a date. Eventually, Jesy took him up on the offer to see him in LA. Roach primarily worked in the States, so it was easy for him to see her out there. Nelson was so nervous for the day that she got drunk on the flight over. She was so drunk that as soon as she met her beau, she was a mess. Around Roach's friends, it got worse. She started to speak with a Scottish accent when she found out one of his associates was Scottish. And after the whole episode, Nelson apologized profusely. It ended well enough, though. The couple started to go steady soon after that. And the good times kept on coming. The next year, the group released their biggest hit to date, Black Magic. The hit went number 1 on UK charts and stayed there for 3 weeks. This was huge, and the single got performed everywhere. But then disaster struck. During one of their promotional performances, Nelson had to pull out at the last minute because of a family emergency. Janice Nelson has suffered a heart attack. Jesy raced by her side to support her mother through the worst of it, but due to her hectic schedule, Jesy couldn't stay long, but her siblings made it clear that they'd look after their mother. Jesy's schedule was especially hectic this year, since the release of Black Magic catapulted the group to new heights, which also helped out the accompanying album Get Weird. The era was so massive that the Get Weird tour has sold out stadiums. Everyone wanted a piece of Little Mix.
He has just got engaged to Jake Roach of Rixton.
I'm engaged to Jake.
And you got a ring as well. Come see the ring. Yeah. There it is. Oh my god.
And her love life with Roach was better than ever. He proposed to her the summer of 2015.
Why isn't Jesy wearing her engagement ring in Sydney?
That's
cool.
Roach and Nelson ended their engagement. There was conjecture as to why the couple broke up. Apparently, Nelson wanted to start a family right away, while Roach wanted to wait further in his life to do anything like that. I would think it was a blessing in disguise, since 2016 was a super huge year for the group. She definitely didn't have enough time to plan a wedding anyway. Boyfriends will come and go, but family is forever.
Never have I ever broken the law.
That is, if they aren't incarcerated. Mr. John Nelson made headlines in November of that year when he was involved in a hit and run. The vehicle John was in had hit a motorcyclist's voice, and Voice died in the hospital due to the hit. Mr. Nelson was arrested at the scene and claimed that there were 2 other individuals behind the wheel when it crashed into Voice. He told the reporters that he wasn't the one behind the wheel and he was still taken away, and at this time there was no further information as to what the investigation turned up. John Nelson wasn't the only one in his family that's had mishaps involving the authorities. The Nelson brothers had some situations of their own. March 2017, Joseph Nelson had been accused of punching someone in the jaw, which resulted in serious injuries, allegedly. The injured party reported the incident to the authorities days after it happened. It went far as to going to trial. Mr. Nelson claimed that the real aggressor was the petitioner. He was very confrontational to Nelson's friend when he kicked a ball outside the petitioner's home. Nelson's lawyer argued that the only reason they were in court today was because he found out that Joseph was related to Jesy Nelson and tried to get money out of the situation by suing. I don't know how the trial concluded, but I hope Nelson reached a favorable verdict. Jessy's older brother, Jonathan, Johnny Nelson, went to a Halloween party. Not much was known about what exactly happened, but Johnny Nelson had been drinking and apparently he got angry because someone at the party kept sending inappropriate messages to his then fiancée, Gabby. Johnny confronted the person, the police was called and found him in need of stitches because of the altercation, so he was rushed to the hospital. October 2016, Little Mix released Shout Out to My Ex. Needless to say, it was a #1 smash hit. Not only that, but its album Glory Days spawned multiple hit singles like No More Side Songs, Power, and Touch. Little Mix was on another massive wave of success. The girls were bigger and better than ever, especially the Glory Days tour. The tour launched in 2017, selling out massive venues and stadiums alike. And what's more, they had American dates in conjunction with Ariana Grande, being the opening act for Ariana. Nelson's career was on its way up, and there are some casual flings along the way. The girls' next era, LM5, is especially great for Nelson. She really came into her own. Their singles like Woman Like Me, Think About It as a Strip, especially really highlighted how Jesy had finally accepted her body and all. Of course, it was controversial. Some had issue with how the girls chose to express themselves. In 2019, while going about her business promoting LM5, she meets a lovely man, Chris Hughes, mainly known for the reality show Love Island. Jesy and Chris were all about town, garnering attention for a possible relationship. The two were blissfully happy for a year, but broke up in April 2020, in which their official statement was personal reasons. No surprise there, during the height of quarantine, couples were either making babies or breaking up. On a career note, the group was rolling out singles for their Confetti album. Their first single, Breakup Song, was well received. The second single, Holiday, was also popular, but their third single, Sweet Melody, hit the ball out the park and became another #1 hit for the group. It was a nice and sweet end to the news that recently came out around that time.
Once again, Jesy Nelson was absent. She's been missing from any of the band's public appearances for over a month.
Yeah, but speculation was running wild over the weekend when she wasn't there to perform the group's hit Breakup Song. And yesterday, Jesy has announced that she is, in fact, breaking up with the band.
For a while, people were wondering, was she sick or when she would be returning? Some thought she'd leave the spotlight altogether. We know now that Jessy's about to launch her solo career. And needless to say, she's going to reach new heights with her solo endeavors. Thank you for watching.
You help me fly. Well, I love you all very, very much. And I hope you're all keeping safe, keeping sane. Just look after yourselves. Do whatever makes you happy. and try and think of this as a positive.
Now there's no room for glass.